This is the story of Hyun Woo, an unlucky gamer struggling to make ends meet while playing the VR game God Wars. With an ailing brother and a niece to care for, he faces many challenges. One fateful night, he gets electrocuted and discovers the ability to see hidden messages and quests within the game. Through this, he rises to become a legendary archmage, going from zero to hero in the game and in the real world as well. Before we begin, follow if you want to zap into the latest anime trends and hit the subscribe button so you never miss any update from us. The story starts with players battling a twin-headed dragon in a virtual reality game. Suddenly, a girl named Lee Sol shows up and defeats one of the dragon's heads. Then, Merlin arrives and summons his flame dragon, which destroys the twin-headed dragon completely. Hyun Woo, the main character, is also part of the raid in the game. However, he's shown arguing with the broker over the phone for paying him too little for the raid. As Hyun Woo argues with the broker, Hyukyo arrives and tries to comfort him. Hyun Woo begins to realize that he may have some talent when it comes to gaming, as the virtual reality game he just played was complex and has potential for growth. Reflecting on his past, Hyun Woo remembers being forced to retire from playing baseball due to an injury. Grateful for Hyukyo's support, Hyun Woo expresses his appreciation and encourages him to level up and succeed. However, Hyukyo seems uncertain about his own abilities. Hyun Woo and Hyukyo discuss Hyun Woo's in-game character, Midas, whom he spent a lot of money on over the course of 5 years to develop. However, Hyun Woo acknowledges that he can't afford to make the same mistake again, as he now has a family to take care of. As Hyun Woo leaves, he narrowly avoids getting hit by a truck. Unfortunately, he ends up getting electrocuted. Hyun Woo wakes up in the hospital, and the doctor tells him that he can be discharged as he doesn't have any major injuries. When he returns home, he's unable to open the door because his biometric data isn't registered. Luckily, his niece, Hae-rin, is there to let him in. His brother, Young Tae-woo, also greets him. Hyun Woo informs Young Tae-woo about the issue with his biometric data not being recognized by the door, and his brother explains that the same data is used for the game God Wars that he plays. This causes Hyun Woo to panic, and he quickly rushes to the Capsule Cafe. At the Capsule Cafe, Hyun Woo contacts customer service for God Wars and is told that he needs to hire a lawyer if he wants to log in again. He suspects that the electrocution might be the cause of the issue, so he decides to start the game from scratch. As he selects his character class, Hyun Woo is surprised to see the Archmage class and immediately chooses it. To his amazement, he discovers that he has been granted the legendary rank of Archmage. He gets excited that he can finally level up and raid. As Hyun Woo prepares to start the tutorial in God Wars, he discovers a hidden quest where he must survive against orcs for 71 minutes. He's surprised to see hidden information in the quest window, which he's able to access. During the tutorial, a group of orcs appears before the players, and Hyun Woo discovers that he can see the status window of the orcs. He manages to survive for the full 71 minutes and earns the title Tutorial Master. However, he's forcefully logged out due to his increasing heart rate. Hyun Woo keeps his class a secret from Hyukyo and continues playing the game. He finds himself in the town of the beginning and notices a golden light in the corner. As he approaches, he discovers a sleeping puppy. The sleeping puppy turns out to be a sign of a legendary quest, which gets Hyun Woo excited. He checks the quest details and learns that he needs to bring the elixir of vitality to the sick and lost puppy. To do so, he must go to NPC Hyden. Hyun Woo heads to the Explorers Guild and orders a basic course, likely to prepare for the quest. After ordering the basic course, Hyun Woo heads to meet NPC Hyden and selects the hidden quest linked with the legendary quest. He knows that he must deceive the guild to get information on the remaining linked quests. Next, he defeats a group of goblins with ease. He acquires a skill card for the fireball skill, which he adds to his arsenal of abilities. Hyun Woo tricks Hyden into giving him information on the linked quests for the legendary quest by pretending to have a hard time with the goblins and complaining about an NPC taking his quest item. Hyden tells him there's no way he can be compensated, and Hyun Woo asks if he can do whatever he wants with the quest, to which Hyden agrees. Hyun Woo completes his tasks and acquires the elixir of vitality to give to the puppy. However, he gets disappointed that he didn't receive any monetary rewards. He gives the puppy the name Lucky. When he tries to view Lucky's information, he is forcefully logged out due to his increasing heartbeat. Hyun Woo left the Capsule Cafe with a big grin on his face, having obtained Fenrir, one of the best mythic creatures in God Wars. Just then, he received a call from Hae-rin, who informed him that her father was in the hospital. Hyun Woo rushed to the hospital and found Hae-rin crying. The doctor informed him that Tae-woo's blood pressure had dropped, causing him to collapse. It wasn't too serious, but they needed to change his pacemaker frequently. Hyun Woo was determined to earn more money for his brother now that he had Fenrir in the game. Hyun Woo attracted the attention of other players the next day due to his possession of Fenrir. He had completed the legendary quest, which meant he could now play solo without needing companionship. During his game, he opened a skill card and found a unique one for telekinesis. After hunting some goblins with Lucky, Hyun Woo ventured deeper into the forest and stumbled upon a boss monster raid. Instead of reporting it to the community, he decided to take on the challenge alone to support his family. He set a trap for the boss goblin and attacked him with an oil and fireball attack. Lucky also helped by biting the boss and making him fall into the pit. Although the boss changed his pattern of attack, Lucky intercepted him and Hyun Woo was able to defeat him. Hyun Woo got the Champion Goblin Hunter title and the Champion Goblin mask worth 1.1 million won. He didn't stream his battle and missed earning some money, so he decides to sell the mask to cover his brother's expenses. He later fakes anxiety and trauma to receive compensation from his insurance company for the electric shock he suffered. Later, Hyun Woo deposits money to Hyukyo after receiving compensation from his insurance company. In the game, he defeats goblins with Lucky by his side. He then witnesses a group of players bullying another player for fun. Hyun Woo knows he shouldn't interfere due to his low level but notices Lucky is angry. The group plans to attack other players, but Hyun Woo steps in to stop them. He introduced himself as the archmage streamer. The group panicked and tried to hide their IDs, but Hyun Woo and Lucky attacked two of the group members and saved the other players from their bullying. Hyun Woo equipped the Champion Goblin set and his stats increased. Lucky startled him with a new power and gained the Treasure Hunter skill. This reminded Hyun Woo of the luckiest player in the game who was believed to be hacking due to his extreme luck in finding treasures. Hyun Woo tested the Treasure Hunter skill and found high-quality ingredients that he could sell for a good price. Lucky then stopped in front of a hole, which happened to be the hideout of a goblin sorcerer. They entered the dungeon and found the goblin sorcerer on his throne. Hyun Woo and Lucky attacked a bunch of goblins, and Hyun Woo was live streaming everything. Hyun Woo attacked the goblin sorcerer, bringing down his HP. Just as the goblin sorcerer was about to retaliate, Lucky intervened and prevented him from attacking. Taking advantage of this, Hyun Woo launched a fireball attack and defeated the goblin sorcerer. After defeating the goblin sorcerer, Hyun Woo was surprised when the sorcerer's corpse stood up and declared that the War of Gods was about to begin. Confused and curious, Hyun Woo obtained the goblin sorcerer's staff, but was disappointed to find out that he couldn't sell it for money. Suddenly, a message appeared, informing him that a main scenario entry had been generated. Hyun Woo realized that this was the missing main story of the game that everyone had been searching for. He then used the skill card gacha he obtained from the War Dragon and acquired a legendary skill rank, Polymorph. Hyun Woo went to Young's house in the town of the beginning to ask about the traces of the nameless god mentioned in the main scenario. Young explained that it referred to defeated gods who left their legacy in the world as they stepped down from the pantheon. He gave Hyun Woo a ring and told him to find Sahalin in the city of Vigor and show her the ring. After being transported to the city of Vigor, Hyun Woo quickly noticed the power of the ring given to him by Young. He then decides to visit Sahalin. Hyun Woo shows the ring to Sahalin, and she is impressed. However, she thinks he is a novice and gives him a difficult task. Sahalin asks him to collect 1,000 orcs outside the city as proof of his strength. Hyun Woo protests, but eventually gives in. Hyun Woo checks the quest and discovers that he needs to collect 1,000 orcs to recover a fragment of the nameless god. He realizes that he only needs to defeat one orc that has the fragment. However, the orc is already surrounded by other players. Suddenly, one of the party members gets disconnected, leaving them in danger. Hyun Woo sees this as the perfect opportunity to get the orc's attention and attacks it with a fireball. One of the party members asks for his help, and he is more than willing to assist. Lucky charges in to help Hyun Woo and bites the orc's neck, while Hyun Woo attacks with a fireball spell, causing the orc's HP to drop significantly. The orc retaliates, but Hyun Woo is able to defeat him with ease. The party members show their gratitude towards Hyun Woo for helping them, and tell him to loot the items from the orc. Hyun Woo had planned to do so all along. After looting the items, one of the party members asks Hyun Woo for his nickname because he wants to promote him. Hyun Woo tells him that his name is BJ Archmage. Hyun Woo delivers the fragment of the nameless god to Sahalin and gains a level up and a new skill called Long Toss. Sahalin tells him that the fragment was hard to retrieve because it was behind a barrier that only allowed former followers to pass through. Hyun Woo suggests pretending to be a former follower and Sahalin gives him a ring made from the fragment to help him pass through the barrier. As they're discussing the plan, a new mission appears with a legendary skill card as the reward. Hyun Woo eagerly accepts the quest and prepares to embark on his next adventure. Hyun Woo and Lucky search for the secret altar's location. Lucky leads Hyun Woo to the entrance of the altar in the fishy forest. After reviewing the dungeon's details, Hyun Woo discovers that he needs to defeat the decaying orc inside the altar. He also notices that players with level 20 are allowed inside the dungeon. To prepare himself, he decides to level up first by defeating regular orcs. He gains a lot of experience and quickly levels up to level 20. However, rumors start spreading that he must have wealthy parents for him to have so many skills. As Hyun Woo checks his level up card, he's surprised by the reward he receives. Follow if you want to zap into the latest anime trends and hit the subscribe button so you never miss any update from us.